Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Kanza and my channel mainly focuses on art, comedy, culture and entrepreneurship. Today in this video we're going to talk about how to start your own business and what the necessary first steps are. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is the fact that a lot of people have misconceptions when they're starting off a business. And I've noticed this with women, some women have really great ideas of what they want to do, but they always are like afraid of, is this the right thing? Is this the wrong thing? It's one of those things that you will never know until you try the first step. Which is why you need to get rid of those misconceptions. So one of the things that we hear about is a lot of success stories. So we hear about Steve Jobs, we hear about Jeff Bezos, we hear about I don't know, from Pakistan, maybe the Cardi guy, they have a lot of retail stores and whatnot. But what you have to understand is that all of them, firstly, are human. Secondly, they started from somewhere. And before before Steve Jobs was Steve Jobs, he was just a person who was, just doing random things. Before Elon Musk was Elon Musk, he was a nerd who was just trying and experimenting things. So I think the most important trait to have as an entrepreneur is to be curious about how things work and, what value they could potentially add to people. But yeah, don't have the thing in your head, don't have this predisposition that, oh, if I start this, I will fail. You might fail, yeah, that is the truth, but that is part of the success, because once you fail, then you will know what to do better. I met this woman in a city who had started her third restaurant business, and the first one, she realized that the food was that the location wasn't great. So then she found a second location for her business, because it is a retail, it's like a land, it has to be somewhere physically, the location plays an important role in restaurants. So the first time she realized that, okay, the location wasn't that great. The second time she realized that the cuisine that she was trying out was something that not a lot of people could understand why it was highly priced, because the market that she was operating in was not necessarily as well developed in terms of ingredient. So it was well developed in terms of flavor, but they did not necessarily the consumers did not understand why something cost XYZ amount, whereas they just wanted to pay X amount for it. So the third time that she finally started her business and experimented and tested it out, now it is a success. And obviously it's not the success at the level of KFC or McDonald's, but it is a successful at the level that she is being profitable from it, she is learning from it, and she's able to take out earnings and go on vacation and manage her house and do some savings. So you have to also understand that a lot of these misconceptions that we have, where we take people and make them into gods, we need to stop doing that. Every single person is the same. Every single person tries and gets somewhere or the other. So keep that in mind first. So the second thing that you have to think about is think of an idea, but don't overthink it. So when I started my first business, it was a business for women's shoes, and the reason that I started it was because, frankly, I was a student and I needed shoes. My shoe size is 11 and my foot is very complicated. It's big, but it's wide. It's I get blisters very easily. I can't wear all sorts of shoes because my foot is shaped in a way that I can't wear narrow-toed shoes, etc., etc. So I was a student and I wanted to wear shoes because I was younger and I liked the idea of having matching outfits and whatnot. So that's one of the reasons that I started it. If it was somebody else who was but there's so many shoe brands out there, why are you even thinking of starting your shoe business? Well, for starters, I needed shoes and I couldn't find shoes that were specific to my design requirement and my comfort requirement. So that's the first thing. Yeah, there are thousands and thousands of brands of shoes, but they don't cater to what I needed. They weren't fulfilling my need. So it is a very simple idea. It's not something that's super major. It's not something that's out of the box. I'm not inventing PayPal, or I'm not inventing Apple computer. It is just a simple shoe. And that was the idea. And then I was lucky enough with my two partners to find where the shoe vendors used to sit and got some samples made, and that's how we basically launched. And it grew to a pretty high successful business in the country that it was launched. But the thing is that if I sat down and thought about why should I make shoes when there are 1,000 shoe brands there, it would have gone nowhere. So you need to start with the simplest, most idea. Don't overthink it. If there's something that you need in your life, maybe you need a note organizer, maybe you need like a label maker, maybe you need like, maybe the journal or the notebooks that you get, they are not according to your aesthetic, because maybe your aesthetic is a bit more on the dark side. Maybe you don't like rainbows and butterflies and, you know, sparkles. So maybe for you the design aesthetic would be more like rough paper, more like on the darker tones, maybe more splotchy approach, like, you know. So if you think that that is what your design aesthetic is, or if you think that, you know, that is something that you would like to have, and you can't find it anywhere, that is your need state. And if you think about that, that is the problem that you're solving for yourself. And there are, just based on the numbers alone, like the statistics of the world, I don't know how many billion people we're at in the world, there will be other people going through the same problem. And once you solve the problem for yourself, other people will be able to find you and be really glad that this problem is being solved by you. Don't get too much advice from people. What I've noticed is generally that humans are very risk averse, and they're very, very averse to trying new things. You know, not everybody is experimental in nature, not everybody is adventurous in nature. But in other areas, I'm like, okay, there's a new thing I want to start. Oh my God, this is amazing. This is fascinating. How does it work? So don't overthink it, and don't ask people for advice. Even if your idea is like super complicated, or if your idea is super simple, ask maybe like your really close friend that you trust, who has like the best interest, your best interests at their heart. Those are the people who might be able to give you advice. But unless they're entrepreneurs, they honestly won't know. There are so many, like, I was reading this article which talked about the richest people in the US. And the richest people, of course, like barring all the tech sector people and whatnot, are people who have like car dealerships, which means that that idea is not novel. But the fact that somebody has a car dealership in an area of used cars are the people that are the most like millionaire level rich, is because of the fact that they were not trying to reinvent the wheel. They were not starting off with like a new idea. They were just like, okay, I want a side hustle, I am going to buy a piece of land or like rent it from somewhere, I'm gonna get some cars, whatever. It is a bit capital intensive, but at the end of the day, like, car dealership is one of the oldest business ideas that has been there since, I think, like cars were invented. Like, you know, buying used cars, and you just obviously clean them, you have a little bit of investment, and then you sell them and you make a chunk of profit, and that then you can use for your savings or whatever. So yeah, so don't like overthink it, and be very, very confident. Sometimes just starting with like, let's suppose the notebook idea, you start with notebook, you make 10 notebooks, you sell it to your family and friends, and they show it to other people, and that is how, you know, they eventually, like, you get more orders. My next piece of advice for starting your own business would be start with something that you like, whether that is like, I don't know, making quilt covers, or whether that is making, you know, handwritten letters, like, you know, people want that service, whether that is like dyeing your hair or other people's hair. Like, start with something that you like, because that kind of taps into your own curiosity as a person. Like, it taps into you having an interest in that subject matter, and then you not getting bored. So I hope you guys like this video. This is the first part in the entrepreneurship series that I will be doing, and eventually, hopefully, maybe I can get some entrepreneurs to actually interview with me and give their insights and whatnot. But do let me know what else you would want me to talk about, especially related to women in business, and you know, like, what are the tips and tricks. I will try to like narrow down the topics and focus more, and try to give like more tangible ideas of how to get going. But yeah, let me know, and most importantly, don't forget to like and subscribe. Please give a comment, let me know what you think, let me know what else you would want me to talk about, and thank you again for watching. Take care, have a nice day, bye.